When the British came, when the British came to Africa, what happened? The British came, and that time when the British came to Kenya, they were using the rupee. They were not using the pound. They were using the rupee because they had already colonized India. So they're
using the Indian rupee.
Yes, they're using the Indian rupee. So they came to Kenya, they found a lush land, lots of potential for coffee and tea.
With guys just stealing and roaming around.
All these Africans are taking care of their goats and sheep. Nothing important happening, according to them. Right? Now, back in the UK, there's market for coffee and tea. So they said, this is fantastic. We can load all this coffee and tea, put it in the ships, goes back to Britain, you make a lot of money. But it was only a handful of British people. We only had a handful of colonialists. They didn't come here in the millions. They came just in a few thousands. Now, they all could not go to the farm to farm coffee and tea. And you need acres and acres. You need thousands of acres of, for you to make real commercial success. You need acres and acres of tea being planted, right? And taken care of and harvested and picked and distributed and shipped. So think of yourself this way. There you are, Gerald, a local native taking care of your goats and sheep. This foreigner, he comes to the country, he has no access to labor himself. They've not come as a large enough group for them to grow this tea and coffee. So they need you to go. They need you, Gerald, they need to find a way for you to go and work on these farms. So this is what they do. Through coercion and political tactics with the government of the day, with the leadership of the day, they create a tax. There were no taxes before the British came.
All right.
They create a tax. They called it a hut tax. H-U-T, a hut tax, a house tax. And they said, you have to pay us 1 rupee per year. If you don't pay it, we burn your hut. We burn your home. Are you following the story?
Yes, I'm following the story.
So now, because of that, there is now a coercive need. You have been coerced
to go and work.
Remember, you are not going to work. You have been coerced to do what? To go and work.
And the person who has the money to pay is the Muzungu. Okay.
The person who has the rupee.
So you have to get the money from
not the cowrie shell, in case you are using cowrie shells or skins or things like that to trade. The person who has a rupee is who? Is a colonialist. We call them Mzungu. The Mzungu, the white man, is the one who has it. So through that effort, they were able to mobilize human resources to go and work on the farm. And the Kenyans worked on the farm, Ghanaians too, this story goes all the way to Ghana. They worked on the farm, produced the tea and coffee. The coffee was shipped. You are paid your 1 rupee, isn't it? Or maybe let's call it 2 rupees. You're paid your 2 rupees. What do you go and immediately do?
You pay your taxes.
You go and pay your tax because you need to save your home. Were they, the British, were they collecting the tax because they needed revenue?
I doubt. They needed labor.
They needed labor. Who produced the rupee? Who gave the Kenyan the rupee in the first place?
The British.
So if I give you this pen, and then I tell you, I need this pen back in taxes. You work for me 1 year, you give me back this pen. Was I giving you this pen, or was I asking for this pen because I needed pens from you?
No, it's because you wanted me to work for you. Then I have my pen.
I was the originator of the pen. So if I give you this pen and then ask you for this pen a year later in taxes, it's not because
I've worked and you have your pen back.
Exactly. You have worked and I have what? Okay. My pen back.
That's very painful.
So this
is a very painful story.
This is the reality of taxes. Taxes were not created as an income tool for government. Taxes were created as a tool to coerce you and I to go and to do certain types of labor, especially that time, tea and coffee for the colonialist. And he used taxes as a coercion, as a method, as a tool to get me to work for him.